Well, hello and good evening, you guys. Welcome to our back to school essentials. Um, I know there are some schools that go year round, and there's some that just go seasonally, and of course, the charter schools and the home schools and all of that. But tonight we have chosen to focus our class on back to school essentials and helping give ideas and tips to you for how to best utilize your essential oils and different doTERRA products. So the goal of this class is to empower you. So many times we hear people say, I've got this and I don't know what to do with it, or is it safe for my kids, or how do you put that on, babies, or how many drops do you put in your diffuser? And it seems like there's always so many different things on how to use essential oils that tonight we really want to focus on being able to empower you on feeling safe and secure and empowered to use your products with and not have to worry about it. Okay, so another thing that I just want to point out really quick is, we're not doctors, and I think a lot of times I think it's important for us to let people know that the only initials behind my name are MOM. And it's something that I have really found a lot of value in doing a lot of research. I love the products. We use them in our household and have, my grandbaby and my kids and my husband, everybody, even my dog has his own essential oil kit. And so I want to remind you guys that we are dedicated to finding out information and being able to support you the best way we can with the essential oils and the education that we have ahead of us. Now, we are also never making claims of being able to cure anything or treat anything. And it's one of those things where I want to make sure that you guys know that we're just taking information from our resource books or from other trainings and different things that we've done. The information that is provided tonight and through all of our classes are things that we've either experienced or we've had other people who have had great results and have tried different things, and or being able to go to trainings and seminars and things to be able to learn for ourselves. We do believe that medical professionals are needed. If I have a cut or a broken bone or something, I'm definitely going to go get it treated the right way. And then, of course, with my knowledge for essential oils and natural products, I would then try to do my best to use the products that I have. But I'm going to, rely on those medical providers and professionals for their expert opinions. Okay, so I just got a question. It's like, what are your top health concerns or goals when it comes to kids and school? Maybe it's preschool, toddlers, daycare, that type of thing. One of the things we hear often is my child doesn't pay attention, or they have a hard time concentrating on their homework, or by the time they get home from school, then they are burned out and they don't have any more capacity. Another thing is, we've had kids who will occasionally come up with, stomach ache or something, and sometimes it's because they're worried about, what the kids will say, or will they know the answer, or did they do their homework. And so a lot of those emotional things can cause us to have, feelings of overwhelm, or not feeling good, because when we're worried about something, that usually goes into the gut. Now, another really important part of this is making sure we get a good night's sleep, our mental wellness, our mental health, and of course, how we deal with things as they come up. And so tonight's class, we also want to keep in mind that there are so many different products that we could go into and talk about, but I just have pulled a handful of them to kind of address some of these topics. Our goal is to empower you with things like how and where and when to use your essential oils. Also, how can we, utilize our oils to open up our mindset, to be able to think things differently. Maybe it is to be able to retain some of the information that we are being taught. And you get overwhelmed. I just attended a training, and I think it was like a 8 or 9 hour training, and we had a 45-minute break. And at the end, I was going, okay, I can't hold any more information, but yet the information was really good. So I kept using my essential oils to, open up that mind and to help things get going. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about nutrition and the importance of being able to help our young ones maybe choose things that will help to give them more energy that their body will be able to utilize, rather than a bunch of stuff that is high in sugar or has no nutritional value at all. And then of course our immune support and sleep quality. Okay, so I have the screen up here where I love this immunity support that we have from doTERRA. On Guard is one of our flagship products. It's been in the company since the very first, and since it is such a high valued used product by many, you can see the lineup of ways that we can use it. They've got everything from throat drops to beadlets. I love being able to have the On Guard wipes. I have a friend here. She's not on tonight yet. This is a gift that she gives to the teachers on back to school night. She has the hand sanitizer spray and then also the wipes, because she just loves, if her kids are going to be around it, she wants it to be, less toxic and no chemicals, something more natural. What I love about the On Guard products is I know without any doubt in my mind, I can use the different cleaning products for surfaces, and it doesn't matter, if my little grandbaby or somebody comes over, if they get their hands on it or lick the table or whatever, I don't have to worry about, the chemicals and the poisons and things. Also being able to have these items in my cleaning cupboard, or underneath my sink, that if somebody was to accidentally get in the cupboard, it's not stuff that's going to be poisonous or toxic to them. Now, I love being able to use the On Guard concentrated cleaner. We have a lot of different recipes that we've taught over the years, or if you're part of our Good Vibes tribe, we have our VIP Facebook page that is just absolutely filled with recipes and ways that you can keep your, use those for, like we have an all-purpose cleaner recipe that's absolutely amazing. What I love about this product is I can take it and I can spray it from the kitchen counter over the fruits and vegetables. The same cleaner I can spray on a school chair, on a desk. I could spray it on a cleaning cloth and wipe off all of the surfaces. And that On Guard has some really great defense in fighting, bacteria or mold and mildew and things like that. Now, on the right hand side, we also have Stronger. So if you're not familiar with doTERRA's kids collection, we're going to feature it at the very end. But Stronger, you guys, so On Guard is a little bit more spicy: cinnamon, clove, wild orange, eucalyptus, rosemary. And so a lot of times people are like, it's really spicy, and I want something that will still be as effective, especially with kids, but I don't want that cinnamon and it to be hot. So Stronger was created a few years ago with kids in mind. It is much more gentle for them. Anytime you see a roller bottle with the word touch on it, you know that that has been perfectly diluted for everyone in your household. Now, Stronger would be the equivalent to our On Guard. I love it. It has rose, it has Litsea in it, which is really fresh and clean smelling, and yet it's very effective on any kind of immunity challenge that you might be faced with. Everything from your nose to your ears to your throat. It's very, very effective. And then of course we have some good old standbys. Breathe is one that I reach for often. Definitely in my top 10. We've got the Touch here. We also have the 15 ml that has 250 drops. And the reason that I like the Touch is you can apply it where you need it. So if somebody's got some discomfort, around their nose, or maybe they're feeling a little tightness in their forehead, you can simply take that roll it onto your fingertip, roll it, touch it across the front of your nose, or you can put it on the front of the chest and the back of the chest, and it's really gentle, but yet it's going to be effective. Now, the Breathe oil that's in the 15 ml bottle, what I love this one is because I I love diffusing. I diffuse in my car. I diffuse at my work. I diffuse at home. I have one next to my bed. We have one in the kitchen. And so, what are we wanting to support in that area? And breathe is really great at being able to open up the airways, keep things, the air flowing. Now, frankincense, tea tree, and the others, you guys, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on these, but these are definitely ones that I would have in my back to school kid collection. And, we're going to talk about making your own keychain in just a minute, and those were ones that I would definitely have. Now, I wanted to go into On Guard, and if you're lucky enough to be watching this in August of 2026, it is our product of the month, so you can, with a rewards order, get it for free. If you're wanting to know how that happens, make sure you reach out to the person who invited you. But this just kind of features each one of the essential oils that are in this Power Punch blend and the benefit that it has for us. We have, eucalyptus. And you guys, if you have not experienced eucalyptus on its own, I highly recommend that you do that. So any one of these essential oils has great benefits by itself, but when doTERRA put something together for our immunity, they were like, what are the ones that are most effective that would work together and be very good at, just protecting our immunity? And, clove is one. I have, let's see, Tammy's on here tonight, and she's got her little grandbaby who just broke her first tooth at 7 months old. And so this is a product that she's able to, just touch the top of the bottle and rub it right over that really sensitive area. You can also just take the clove. The clove is one of our highest antioxidants available, and doTERRA's clove specifically is very effective. It helps with our cardiovascular health as well as any kind of free radicals that you might be experiencing. I love being able to have clove on its own because I can just put it on that area if I want numbing, because it has a really great numbing effect, but also offers, antiviral and benefits. Now, as I'm talking about some of these different things like eucalyptus and clove, why I do that is because I use these individually, but if you don't have a huge collection like I do, you can always start with something like On Guard, and then what are the things that you would be using, clove for? Just like I was mentioning Tammy with her new grandbaby. She's able to use On Guard because they may not have access to clove alone. Now, this is a study that was done a few years back, and you can see how effective On Guard is. So I think this is probably about 10 years old, this study. And you can see that they were all in a controlled area in Petri dishes. They were all infected, and by using the Lysol, you can see the Lysol on the bottom right, and it was all the same amount of time, and you can see how whatever it was infected with just spread all over in different ways. Now, Lysol, it kind of went around the outside edges and didn't get right where the Lysol was. With Clorox, it was just like right over the middle of it. And then I want you to really pay attention to the On Guard slide. You guys, I saw a Petri dish sample where they were showing us, and one of the doctors, Dr. Nicole Stevens, had done tests where they didn't cover the Petri dishes, they left them open, and that the virus was actually jumping away from the On Guard one and into other dishes to stay away from it. Now, what we know is that a surface can stay free of any of the contaminants for up to 7 days once it's been wiped off with On Guard, unless it's been contaminated. So if you wipe off a counter or the school pencil sharpener area or the sinks and stuff like that, if somebody who is sick comes in and sneezes or coughs right on it, of course it needs to be cleaned again. But otherwise, if it's not getting recontaminated, it stays free of all of those. So I think this is very very impactful, and I love learning about it. Now, here's a couple of more ways that we can use On Guard, you guys. It is definitely a staple in so many households, on the buses, in the backpacks, on the computers. I did mention the the sanitizing spray. It's 99% proven that it will kill any kind of bacteria or anything that it's around. So with confidence, you can spray it on, and I'm going to keep this to school, but on the bus seats, on the school sinks and water fountains. And this is something that I take into public restrooms with me. So if I'm going to go visit, maybe I'm going to read at the library or read to kids at school or something, I'm definitely going to put this on my hands and probably spray the surface, because what we know is there's a bunch of those little germs that, that time of year, air quotes, when kids pass a lot of things around. Oh, here it is. It's like, why? It's like 99.9% of the bacteria or other germs it will get rid of those. So, and it's also user friendly for everyone. And so, gosh, you guys, just all the different ways that you can use this. And it's safe, I have a friend who's a school teacher who the kids do science fair projects every year, and the year that they were doing the test on her classroom, she was using On Guard concentrate to clean, and on foaming hand wash at the sinks, the hand sanitizer, and then they made a concentrate that she would spray over the desk and wipe them off. And they had less than 1% of the students sick that year. You guys, that's huge, where most of the other classrooms would have, all kinds of different numbers, but a lot of kids were sick, including teachers, and hers was the only classroom that had that kind of result. Okay, so an immune roller, I use this often. We've been using this for a really long time. It's very easy, very simple to make. The way you would apply this is, if you're touching shaking a bunch of hands or working with a lot of people and stuff, sometimes I'll just roll it into the palm of my hands, and then I'll rub the back of my neck. I can put it across from one ear across my jawline to the other ear, especially on the first signs of a scratchy throat or something tickling. And I have a friend whose kids are allergic to egg, and therefore they were unable to get the, again, air quotes, flu shot for the seasons and everything. And what she did to protect them is she would leave the immune roller right next to their toothbrushes in the bathroom, that and a bottle of Balance, and those kids would use that every single day, and her kids were not sick. You guys, I can't stress enough how important it is to be proactive in using these products before you have something start to come up. And then once you have something, then I am more, I use it a lot more often. Like, instead of once in the morning and once at night, I might be using it every 3 or 4 hours and reapplying. Now, I want to point out in the middle here, we have a keychain. Now, what I love about the keychains is they hold about eight little sample size bottles, which are 5/8 drams. So some of them carry 1 drams, but you can kind of customize what is it that my student needs, or what is it that I want to have in their environment, that they can hook this to their backpack. They could leave it in their desk. They could hang it in their locker. It could be on their gym bag. And so, gosh, On Guard, Breathe. We talked about tea tree a little bit. And so what are the things that this student specifically needs to be able to feel completely supported? Now, some of the littles in our families, they may want things like Brave or Tamer. If you have a student, or somebody who goes to school and has a lot of stomach issues, maybe they worry a lot, or maybe they're very sensitive to the food that they might be eating, well, Tamer is an amazing essential oil. You could put it in this little sample size bottle, and they could just get it out, go to the bathroom. In a lot of cases, you guys, what we'll teach our parents is they can take this small keychain, let the school nurse and let the teacher know what the kids are using it for, so that they don't have to go through that conversation. We may have oils in here to help them be able to concentrate or learn a little bit better, but the best part about it is you can use what you want when you need it. It's a little tiny, it's compact, and a little bit of this stuff goes a really long ways. Now, another thing that we want to do is be able to reduce toxic load. Now, what we know from some of our other classes and the things that we teach is, when kids have a hard time learning or concentrating, or they have rashes and they have breakouts and they get overwhelmed really easy, a lot of times it's because of the things that are in their environment. And believe it or not, this could be things like candles that are highly scented with things that are really harmful for them. whatever they're breathing in, so when we're breathing in different scents and smells, it is one of the most toxic things that we can expose ourselves to. And so being able to replace some of those fragrances and those perfumes with things like diffusers, like I absolutely love. So there's classrooms and teachers and settings where you can diffuse, and there's some where you can't, but you can always do this, be proactive and have some of this stuff taking place at home, so that when you're sending your kid to school, they're ready. Like, their immunity is up, their toxic load is reduced, and so they will be able to handle things a lot easier. Again, guys, we have Purify. It's one of my favorites. I love to put this with On Guard. Sometimes I put it with Abode. And this is something I put in our cleaners because of the way it smells and how effective it is on mold and mildew and different things like that. Now, some of you may or may not be familiar with our Abode line. So we have all those products that I showed at the beginning for On Guard, and those are mainly meant for our bodies. Like, we had a throat drop, we had a hand spray. The Abode line is for our home. And when we're trying to get rid of some of those toxic things like the cleaners, gosh, you guys, do some research. Research some of the more common named household cleaners that are just, you may be cleaning off the surface of something, but you're putting something else on the surface that you're being exposed to. And we get to be proactive in protecting our families and giving us the best that we can. Now, I did mention a little tiny bit about focus and being able to open up that mind. There was a study done years ago at Stanford where kids or students, they were adults, when they diffused peppermint essential oil while they were being taught their lesson, and then it was diffused again when they were testing, they tested something like 30% higher than all of the other students just with the difference of peppermint. Now, wild orange and peppermint, you see I have that cute little heart there. One of our favorite things to do, we make a little water spray in a bottle. You can take it like a 4-ounce bottle and put 5 or 10 drops of wild orange in there, and maybe 3 or 4 drops of peppermint. You can kind of adjust it to the scent that you want. You could also add, supermint or spearmint, just depending on what you want, and then fill it up with water. I add a little teeny pinch of Epsom salt anytime I'm using water with our essential oils, and then I shake it up, and it helps those oils stay bound to the water. And you guys, it's just uplifting, it's invigorating, and think of after they've been at school all day and they come home and they still have homework. I remember one of my friends saying, "Oh my gosh, my second grader comes home and has an hour of homework after being at school all day, and it's so overwhelming, and they're fatigued, they're exhausted." But if you're diffusing, or have that little spray that you can spray out, or put a couple of drops of it in their hands, have them rub their hands together, take a few really good deep breaths, and take whatever residues on their hand and rub it across the back of their neck. And you guys, it just instantly gives you that little bit of pep without any kind of caffeine or stimulant or anything like that. Now, lemon is known for the oil of focus. So I want you to think of lemon as having your mind feels like it's full of cobwebs and everything else, like just all of the stuff. And by diffusing it and getting it in that air, and you're breathing it in, it's opening up and it's clearing out all of that stuff, all of the stuff that's been clogging up your memory and your mind. It's giving you that fresh scent again. Now, doTERRA has 2 oils that I absolutely love for people who say, "Oh gosh, I have a really hard time concentrating." Thinker, which is from the kids collection. You guys, it's easy, it's gentle. Where would we apply it? Well, if somebody's having a hard time remembering or concentrating, then I'm going across the forehead, behind both ears, or across the nape of the neck, like behind underneath the hairline, and maybe rolling it into the hand and having them take a few really good deep breaths. This formula is made to help people focus on information. Now, Intune is also kind of a focus blend. I'm going to say it was first made for adults, The first time I used it, I was really tired, and I had earned the opportunity to go see Dr. Hill in a webinar. And we get there and they hand this out to us. This was part of it. It was a brand new release. They were teaching us about it. I rolled it all over the back of my neck and in my hands and everything. And we sit down, and about 30 minutes in, I'm going, okay, I can't keep my eyes open. Like, I'm tired. I can't believe I'm sitting here and I can't focus, because I had overused it and because I was really exhausted. Now, I want to just reassure you guys that that's not the way that it works. Think of, if you have a lot of different things and this is your filing cabinet, and you get to, moms, I'm going to just put a cheer out there for moms. It's like, we need to do the, dinner and laundry and pick up the kids and schedule and who's supposed to be here and who's supposed to be there and keeping everything organized. This essential oil blend does exactly that. Now, if you know someone who has a really hard time studying, or I have a friend whose son is very, very autistic. Now, what they would do is they would take Intune and they would roll it down the back of the spine of the son and then put it on his feet. And when they started doing this on a regular basis, it wasn't only a few days that he went to school, and they called the parents in and said, "What have you changed?" And at first she's thinking, okay, I'm in trouble. Like, they're going to tell me something's changed or he stinks or something like that. And instead, the teacher said, we've noticed a big difference in just the way he's able to slow down and participate and be not disruptive to the rest of the kids. You guys, what I'm going to say about all of these that are on the screen right now is, start out with less, and then you can always add more. And I'm also pointed out some of my favorite other essential oils that you can diffuse, just for mind focus, for mind clarity. I can't be the only one here who think of tax day or whatever when you're preparing all the information, you're gathering things and you're putting them in piles, and there's times when there's just a lot. Stop, reset, get that focus, and then continue. Okay, now we're going to go into quality sleep. You guys, one of the best things is, people learn better. They react to stress and situations that might be overwhelming to them a lot better when they are able to get enough sleep. Now, I love bedtime routines. I love being able to say, okay, here's a routine. This is what we do. We brush our teeth, we take a bath, we do our shower, we do all this preparation. And our body actually remembers and goes back into this, oh wait, it's time, we're turning off all of the electronics. So there's a lot more to it than just using essential oils. But I can promise you that having my diffuser next to my bed, or being able to put, like, after I take my shower at night, then I'll put my unscented lotion, and I'll customize what do I need to help my mind and my body settle down and slow down for the night. Now, peace is a roller. It's peace of mind. So anytime if somebody's being faced with a lot of challenges, maybe they're taking some really hard classes, maybe they are faced with a teacher that they may not love, or there may be kids in the classroom that are disruptive or they don't get along with. You guys, peace is a really great one to just use a little bit. You can put it across the forehead for peace of mind. You could put it over your heart for peace in your emotions. Calmer is from our kids collection. I use this on a regular basis. I also use this on my new grandbaby. When she comes over and she's excited and wants to play, and then, or when kids get where they're overexhausted. Have any of you guys ever dealt with a child that has been too tired? Or, it's like they get that giggly and then that crankiness. Well, this is really great to be able to put on the bottoms of the feet. You could put it across the chest. You could put it behind the ears. What I love about all of these essential oils for like your mind or for your mood is chest, head. You want to keep it up in those areas. Now, Roman chamomile is just such a great essential oil. It has a little bit sweeter smell. It is in our Serenity blend, and it also is really great for teething. Not that kids that are teething or going to school. But if you really just want to calm down the area, just put a drop of it in a diffuser and watch everyone around. And again, you guys, one thing to consider is if you've got kids getting up early in the morning, start your diffuser with something uplifting and happy and cheerful. Any citrus oil, cheer, motivate. There's bergamot, rosemary. I mean, there's so many spearmints to get the mood going, to keep it nice and happy. When the kids are coming home from school and they're tired, or maybe they're cranky and they're fighting a little, well, then customize that essential oil blend to calm the area. Now you could take that same calmness and put it into the diffuser for them to sleep at night. Now some kids are going to want to have that citrus oil added to it. The more that you get familiar with each oil and how it works, and maybe it's a matter of just opening it up and going, ooh, I love the smell of that. I found that one of my favorites, and I talked about it last week, is Serenity and Deep Blue. There's something about the combination of those two that is so just peaceful to me. We do have a Serenity sleep system. Now, depending on how old the child is, there's a capsule and there's a stick, which I've fallen in love with the sticks. Anytime I use essential oils and I put them on, so for instance, if I was using Calmer and Serenity, then I would put the Calmer roller on, wait for a minute or so, and then I would put the Serenity stick right over the top. Now the Serenity oil, great to put in your diffuser, great to put in your lotion. I mean, there's so many things and ways that you can use it. Best thing is, you guys, is if you only have 5 oils, or maybe lavender is in your kit. Maybe you've got lemon, lavender, and peppermint. Well, lavender would be your reach for sleep and being able to calm the area or the person. Okay, now mental health and mental wellness is also very important. Kids getting ready for school, we don't know what they're faced with. Like, we may go, oh my gosh, it's 2nd grade. What could be so hard about that? And yet their tummies are so upset and up because of all of the things that they're faced with. Maybe they have forgotten something. Maybe somebody's been teasing them. I mean, we don't know. And so steady is similar to balance in the way that it helps us to feel completely grounded. So this would be a great one. And when you buy the kids collection, they come with a little carabiner that has that can hook onto like backpacks and gym bags, or just being able to put it in the locker, you guys. Or you could also pop that roller top off and put it in a little sample and put it into that keychain. But it's grounding. So if you have somebody or a child that is all over the place, just like all over, can't concentrate, can't hold a focus, this would be really great across the forehead, on the bottoms of the feet. Now Brave is, oh gosh, it's got citrus oils. It's super uplifting. It is the courage blend. So maybe they're learning to ride the bus for the first time, or maybe, getting their tray and going through the lunch line. And it's something that is scary, especially if they've never experienced anything like that. Or maybe it's the first spelling bee and they have to get up in front of the class and spell words or give a report. You guys, all of these things, if you look at the kids collection, and then you look at the emotions collection, motivate and cheer, we've got peace, we've got console. So somebody's having a really difficult time, maybe they just don't want to be there. That console, right in the hands, over the heart, you're going to be okay. Let's give you the courage, and I'm not against putting different essential oils together and having it be your superpower blend. And you don't have to name it Focus, have it be superpower. Okay, also with our mental health support, you guys, the adaptive system. I put the whole system up in here because the roller bottle is so easy to use. And this one was, it came out right before COVID, which was such a godsend blessing. This one is when you're needing to have all of the coping, and I can get through this, and it's got oils in there like wild orange that are going to be uplifting, and it's got oils that are going to be very calming, like coriander and fennel. It's got GABA. Now the gel cap is different than the essential oil or the roller. So it has both mood boosting and tension reducing essential oils in it. Now, depending on your child, and maybe it's a high school student that, has a lot of pressure, maybe they're in sports and it's a lot. Well, these are all individually very beneficial for each person. Now, copaiba is another, it's like Jules isn't on here tonight, but she'll talk about having a dreamy sleep or something. And it's like their combination is copaiba and serenity. And I love that all of these can interact and you can mix and match. If you need it in the morning to help yourself be calm for the day, you can take it then. And what I love about like Serenity, for instance, is I can take it in the morning, especially if I have a really hectic day, and it doesn't make me go to sleep, unlike some over the counter type things would do that. I love that I can take Serenity at night and it just gives me that extra, I can sleep really well. Okay, and then we have supportive nutrition. You guys, the way that we start our day is the way that our day plays out. The food and the nutrition that we put in. I have a doctor. He's not a doctor. Boyd Truman. I remember going to a training with him once, and him saying, "Live in, live out, dead in, dead out." And what he was talking about with your nutrition is it's like, gosh, if you're eating everything that's processed, that has been, chemically made or altered or all this, can you imagine why your body feels sluggish and it doesn't have the energy that it does when you have something like, a fresh spinach salad with fresh raspberries and homemade dressing and, it's so you want to be able to get as much good nutrition, especially in our kids when we're expecting them to learn so much and pay attention and go through all the different things. So a 2-minute routine, you guys, is so easy. I love VMG Plus for kids. We've talked many times about how you could take a packet, you could split it up for 2, you could split it up for 4. We've talked about making it into ice cubes, mixing it up with your water, putting it into ice cubes, letting the kids put that, just eat the ice cube or put it in some water and drink it. It tastes really, really good, and it has all kinds of nutrition. Now, the next one is heart and brain health, which is our omega plus. You guys, this is fish oil, and I just want to reassure that our fish oil comes from the Nordic seas. It does not have any of the chemicals and things that fish oils that are from the Pacific have. There's so much toxins and things in the water and the fish and everything else that you can trust that this has been tested to make sure that it is safe and valuable, and there's nothing harmful in it for us. We also have the A to Z chewable tablets. Now, this is for anybody at any age. I know adults that will take these in the afternoon when they get a sugar craving. I know kids that will just take one and chew it up. It's got I believe a watermelon flavor. It's a natural watermelon, and it has this cute little smiley face on it. Now, we have some adults that can't swallow pills, or kids that can't swallow pills. Well, both of these, the VMG Plus or the A to Z, are solutions for that. You could crush that A to Z chewable up and put it into a smoothie or something. And then I also wanted to highlight here our recharge. So many kids are out there active, they're not drinking water, they're not staying hydrated, especially if they're in sports. This has been shown from athletic directors who've come on and done presentations of how it helps them have more energy, better energy, and being able to perform better as an athlete. I love it. It comes in strawberry or lemon lime. We have full-on classes on this, so I'm not going to take a lot of time here, but it is really great. So consider, healthy lunches. So many people pack their lunches for their kids, which, and once my kids hit junior high, and a lot of times in grade school, they preferred having a homemade lunch. And so really kind of consider looking at things that are low in sugar. Now, I'm not saying sugar-free or low fat, because a lot of times some of those products have more chemicals and toxin things in it to make the change in flavors than to just have, like some blueberries or some grapes. And again, we talk we've talked a lot about, taking that On Guard concentrate, or taking a big uh, tub of water or a bowl of water and really cleaning it with essential oils and flavoring it, enhancing, making sure that you have flavored water and things with your oils. You can just, and the little PB Assist packets are really great for good pre, pro, and postbiotics. The breakfast, you guys, going back to smoothies, protein balls, eggs. And a lot of times we have people who will, make their own little egg bites. So they'll make up a whole bunch of scrambled eggs, and they'll put them in little muffin tins, and, put chopped up peppers and things in there so that the kids can just grab them and go. Or, making up a really great zucchini is, and I'm sure Tammy's going to add at the end of class. She has so many great ideas on cooking. Protein bars. One thing I wanted to point out here is a lot of our fruits, maybe not bananas, but any of our berries or apples, grapes, oranges, when you take those and you slice them, well, not oranges either, but you take the apples or the grapes or any of the berries and you clean them really good, soak them in the water, use the On Guard or whatever. And then what I like to do is infuse them with essential oils. I have the same teacher I was telling you about earlier. She would take apples, slice them up, cover them in water, put a few drops of On Guard in there, let it sit for about 20 minutes, pour off the water, and then she would take little snack cups and put them on the kids' desks at school so that they could be eating those healthy snacks, with the essential oil that would also help to boost their immunity. Okay, I said we were going to also mention our kids collection. You guys, this is kind of the grab and go. And I want to just remind you that it's kids of all ages. When I said my dog had his own collection, this is the collection that he has. It sits in our kitchen with the other things that we've made for him, like his own vapor rub, not vapor rub, his goo that he uses on his paws and things like that. But you see the little carabiners. You can put them on each one of those essential oils. They have little flashcards that easily teach kids how to use each one. Like it's a little picture of a belly or the body, and where the brave, you can see there's a heart. You can see a steady, there's a little heart on the picture. Calmer and thinker, they both have the brain. And this collection, you guys, is so easy to use, easy to grab and go. And so hopefully we're going to open up in just a second for some. Okay, so really quick: thinker for focus, calmer for calming. Rescuer would be the same type oil as say like a deep blue for adults. Rescue, so any kind of like growing pains or aches, or maybe they've been running a lot and they're achy a little bit, that would be perfect. Stronger would be similar to like an On Guard type product. And these are all more gentle in their sense than the other ones. Tamer, you guys, Tamer has become one of my favorite essential oils. It is for bellies. And you can just simply roll it around the belly. I also love it for anything for breathing. So I know it's kind of a hack, but if they've got a runny nose or stuffed up nose, or maybe they've got, tension in their forehead or across their head, Tamer is the one I love, and you can just simply put it on the area that you need it, or put it on your fingertips and roll it in the hands. Brave is our courage blend, and then of course Steady is our grounding blend. I want to thank you guys for showing up tonight, listening to our class. We are now going to open it up for some testimonials. We've got some people on here who I know have a lot of wisdom to share with us. And if you guys have any questions, we would love to open that up for you now.
I don't have a question, but I will talk about how I use those oils.
Please, Tammy.
Especially, excuse me. So you were talking about On Guard. Something else, you putting it on apples for just snacking. But we did the On Guard apples and we dehydrated them. I know a lot of people around here love to make dried fruit. Or even the freeze dried fruit. So by soaking your fruit in the essential oils, I know people who are just adding a little bit of flavor boost, if you will, to all of their dried fruits. So they're doing the On Guard apples with On Guard on there, and then also a little spraying them a little bit or cinnamon with them, and making caramel apples and things like that as we're getting into, uh, fall. And then, of course, like you were talking about the protein balls or something like that for breakfast in Good Vibes. And in our recipe book, we have an amazing recipe in there where it is a protein ball. Now, we don't carry protein anymore, but so pick your favorite protein, but it is made with wild orange and almond butter. And then there's one with peanut butter. And I know I make them at a lot of our events that people love. We also have recipes for when you said On Guard is kind of that spicy kind of flavor. We have another, um, our honey, super good. A quick thing is if you didn't want to make our spiced honey, I love using our spiced honey, but if you wanted to increase the kids' boost their immunity, a little bit of On Guard, and again, maybe add some orange, wild orange to it. But that's a great honey for a peanut butter and honey sandwich. Or I know for my grandkids, they like a Mexican hot chocolate as the cooler weather starts. And I love adding our spiced honey, and or I will add a little bit of cassia or On Guard just to make it just a little bit spicier. And they love that. So I love that I can make. I know that my grandkids, I could go on forever because I love to cook and play with them, but I always have heavy whipping cream. And my two grandkids that live here, the boys, they're completely different on things that they like. And what I like about the heavy whipping cream is not only can they flavor it, if whether they're adding it to their hot chocolate or their apple cider or even their coffees, whether it's a hot coffee or a cold coffee, is I can adjust the flavor without adjusting so much sweetness to it. So obviously, we do add a little bit of, for my little junk food junkie, I will make it into almost whipped cream and add a little bit of powdered sugar. But sometimes he likes to add wild orange to it when he's putting it on, um, desserts or with fruit and things like that. And what I like about that is, you know, at grandma's house, kids can do whatever they want. So instead of having a can or a tub of something where, with all the stuff in there, I love being able to just make them their own and they can use it freely. And then I also love that you talked about we have fiber and we have fiber and we have greens, or is it called? It's not called, is it greens? Yeah. So I love using the fiber in like the apple cider because it makes it so much more spicy. It gives it a great little spice to it. And then I love also adding, not only do I add it into my cookies or brownies, but zucchini bread because zucchini is something that usually grows in abundance if you're a gardener. A little dash of our VMG plus. I've tried that, but also adding our fiber and things like that. So though we might be just slowly starting to make changes or, you know, better choices for our kids, you guys, because when we make better choices and they see it, they're going to continue that. And I love, like, Sarah is an amazing role model, her and her boys, but I just love taking a taste of the oil or, like I said, the fiber or the greens, just tasting it. And then you get to pick what you think it's going to go with. What other food you love do you think it's going to enhance it? So that's it.
Part of the thanks Tammy for sharing all of that. Part of the VMG that I love is you can hide that in other things. Like Tammy was talking about muffins and bread, zucchini bread and things like that. I know one time, didn't you try it in eggs? It wasn't a really big hit in eggs as far as I'm concerned because it's sweeter, I mean, it's definitely a sweeter taste. But I love the tip of fiber, because our kids are not getting enough fiber. We're not getting enough fiber. And so, anyway, we can do those smoothies. And I also love the tip of when we're using essential oils, it gives you that flavor without the calories and without the artificial coloring, without the artificial sugars and things like that. Um, Okay, thank you, Tammy, for that. Let's see, Sarah, do you got something you want to throw in there for us?
Oh, how did you know?
Oh, time out. One thing really quick, you guys. As they're talking, I'm sitting here going, gosh, we didn't talk about some of the things that kids are exposed to, like, the little head bugs and things like that. So maybe next week we'll bring in more of the specific things on what to do for those. Like, we have an all in one kit that we did a few years ago. Would be really fun to kind of talk about. Okay. All right, go.
You know, I love that class. I'm in. Okay, so I love that Tammy said that because we use the kids omegas forever and ever, and now they have just the soft gels. So we'll pop the soft gels in their individual, like they'll make their own waffles and pancakes and stuff, and so we pop those in there. But find a way. I always tell with kids, I know this wasn't about kids, but you can find a way to get these nutrients into kids and grandkids. I swear to you, I've used everything and it works. So get creative because when you get creative, they're not going to say no. So like kids that eat chicken nuggets, I'm like, do they know any different? Because you didn't test them. Like you just let them tell you what they liked. So they need to know. And something else that we really like to experiment with is the VMG. So the VMG has been a hit, and it depends if they're sick or what's going on. The VMG will taste different for kids or for anybody, I guess you could say. So you can hide the VMG in literally everything. So we've made ice cubes and then put it inside their drink, and they never knew. They just thought it was a mango flavor. So we do a lot of that. But we can a lot. We make our own applesauce and our apple pie filling and stuff. And we use cassia and cinnamon and On Guard. We've used On Guard. My mom, it wasn't, I probably shouldn't say this, but she used Harvest Spice. She's infatuated with Harvest Spice. So we can a lot with essential oils too. And it's completely safe. We've done a lot of research. It's a little tidbit. But my little thing that I wanted to share, and Haley asked me to share it, was I had a customer that worked with my husband at the power plant here in Wyoming, and he has been using the Lifeline Vitality and the Advantage. He likes the plain Advantage. And he's done it for tennis elbow and arthritis in his hands because he's a welder and a mechanic. And he got to the point where he like was physically, he's like, I can't do this. And he's about 6'7", so he's a big dude. And it was like making him hunched over. So I got him on this and it helped. And he's like, I'm night and day and I'm having so much relief. And so he started these peptides and started all these fun things and quit ordering. And he only quit his rewards order for 1 month. And I just sat and watched, and I kind of wanted to just observe. I told Luke, hey, I watched my numbers. I watched people that cancel. And I told him, hey, Tyler canceled. And he said, huh. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I'll ask Kaylee, yesterday or the day before, Tyler is at work and he said, dude, I'm hurting so bad right now. I literally got onto doTERRA.com, re-upped my rewards, and got my advantage. And it's being shipped. He overnighted it. Like I didn't know that till Luke got home, but he made it overnight because he said my tennis elbow and my arthritis is gone in my knees, in my back, and everything when I take Lifeline Vitality and the Advantage collagen. So that is a man. That is a humongous man that is saying that, and I really wanted to talk about that.
It's awesome. I mean, we don't know what our body is, how our body is being supported sometimes until we're not supporting it anymore. And unfortunately, a lot of times people will, it gradually wears off and then they don't put it together of what just changed. And so we get to be the best customer service people around and, help to fill in those gaps and let people know. One thing I know for sure, you guys, is I love knowing that our company has integrity. I love knowing that what we have is different. A lot of times I hear people say, oh, I know, but it's just like, no, it's not. It's just like saying, and I just talked about this to a girl this last weekend, and, she was saying something about nutrition, and I said, explain it like this. When people say they're all the same, it's like saying that a McDonald's Happy Meal hamburger is the same as one that is an elk burger that has never had any contaminants or pesticides or whatever. It's like the burgers are completely different. The nutrition is completely different. What it does for our bodies is completely different. And I mean, it's just like crazy. And so I love that we can trust our company, that they do certify CPTG every single bottle, that it is free of all of those things. Sarah, did you have something else you wanted to say, or were you saying goodbye?
Of course I do. I do have one
Okay.
more thing. And I didn't put this together till a customer said, and it was weird because Laura Ritchie actually started it. But she said, why? I was just in natural grocers and I was trying to hurry and get some tea tree because you told me it was great for toenail fungus. And she goes, why are there a bunch of numbers on the bottom of yours, but not on this one? And I'm like, I never put that together. That's because of their 100% pure in unadulterated oils. So they have to have that expiration. Now, do I believe the expiration date? No, because I use them past that. But I think that's fantastic news that our oils are completely different than anything else.
Well, and the numbers on the bottom of the bottle is so that you can source, you can go to sourcetoyou.com and it will tell you exactly the testing, the harvesting, where it came from, and so you can trace it all the way back. And a lot of companies aren't willing to put that out there because they don't want you to know where they're sourcing their stuff. But I mean, and I do trust this on my pet. I trust this on my granddaughter, and I trust it on my family. And so I'm super excited about it. So I want to say thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And as always, we get to be empowered to know what to do with what we have. And when we learn things like this from this class, whether we have kids going to school or not, you're going to know somebody who does. And with confidence, we know that we have something that we can share with them that will improve their story or their situation. Yeah, okay, so next week we're going to go deeper into some of the things that happen at school, like the little bugs in the hair and stuff like that. You guys, as always, you'll be able to find this recording in Facebook, in our Good Vibes Facebook team, and then you'll also be able to find it on YouTube. I want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Gosh, Laura, Dee, Bobby, Tammy, Danita, Amy, Sarah, all of you guys for joining us tonight. Congratulations on taking your education to the next level. So, all right, we'll see you next time, you guys. Bye, you guys.